How's it going, everyone? This is Kevin. Today I wanted to bring you along with me to do a trick photography with reflections on the grounds with puddles and kind of masking on Photoshop. So I did a photo like that a while ago. Check it out right here. So I wanted to recreate that and show you the process that I did to make that photo happen, and we're just gonna kind of do it right here since it's been raining today. We'll see how many big puddles we can find and we'll just see what we can create. So some of the essential things that you'll need, it'll be a tripod, a camera that can connect to Wi-Fi or has a timer, and yourself and your shoes that you're going to take off. So make sure that they're easy shoes to take off so that they can be in the same spot whenever you take them off. But that's pretty much it that you'll need, so I think it should be quite relatively easy to do, so let's get into it. Alright, so we're at the tennis courts by my house because, well, there's a lot of reflections on the courts right now, and if I don't have enough reflection, I also brought a bottle of water with me just to kind of sprinkle on the ground, just to add a little bit more water since it stopped raining a bit ago. So I think that will help out to just create a better reflection overall. But as you see, there's a lot of reflections on the ground, which I think we're going to take advantage of to see which one will be best for us to use and make the best out of this photo for us. So as you see, there's a nice reflection here in front of me that we're going to use for our photo. I'm going to add a little bit more water to it just so that it expands a little bit more and so we have more to work with. Alright guys, now that the water is poured, it's time to set up our tripod and get everything situated for our camera just so that we can take our photo and make sure that we're in frame, and then I'll take you step by step of what I do to make sure that the photos are basically similar to each other in focus so that when you do the masking of it, it'll look similar and it won't look too obviously photoshopped. Now that I have my tripod set up, I'm going to set up my second camera and then I'm going to walk you through my settings real quick. So let's go to it. Alright guys, so this is basically the setup that I have for this. I'm using my 35mm on the camera for photos, so I have my 85 taking the video right now. Just because I need a little bit of a wider lens, and currently I own these two lenses before I upgrade to another wider lens, but make everything work with what you got. So my setting, I did basically just focus on the ground over there where I'm going to be standing at, and then I hit the little switch on my lens that has for a manual focus, which I am having a hard time focusing over here, but you get the point. So there's a manual focus on my lens, and you can also do it obviously on your camera by yourself. But with that being said, just kind of focus it where you want to be standing, and then make sure that you hit the manual focus after, so that whenever you take the first photo, it'll have that background the exact same way that you're going to be taking the photo whenever you step into it as well, because you need to have one of just the background and then one of you in it with the shoes on and then one without the shoes on, just so that you have that easier way to just kind of mask out things and everything is the same kind of focus length. So one thing that I noticed that I want to do more is add a lot more water in the front so that it shows a little bit more of me and then not just my legs, so that it adds a little bit cooler effect. So let's see if that can play out just how I have it in mind. Alright, now that I have both shots that I wanted, one with a little bit more of my body in it, we're gonna go into Photoshop and we're gonna see what we can create with these two shots and kind of merge them together, mask them out. I'll show you my process that I do and hope you learn something with me. So let's get into it right away. Alright guys, we're back in my office now. We're gonna jump into Lightroom to check out the photos and see how they turned out. From there, I'm gonna send them to Photoshop so that I can use them to do the masking that I'm trying to do with the combination of the photos. And then that way I can send them back to Lightroom so that it doesn't lose as much quality and it looks a lot better for when exporting. So let's jump into it. Alright guys, now that I have my files here imported into Lightroom, I have sent them over to Photoshop. So literally what you do is you can select all of them like this, and then you go edit in Photoshop, and then I already have them over here. So I'm gonna go and jump into what I wanna do. So these are the photos. What I'm gonna do is make a copy of the layer so I can copy it and send it over to this one while I make a copy. Hide the background, and then add the layer over here. I'm going to add a mask, grab my brush tool, make sure I have the black selected, and then from there I'm just going to make sure that that's there and start erasing myself just like that, and simply just start erasing all the way down over here. Now I can zoom in to make sure that it just looks right, which it does, simply like that. And all I have to do now is just click Control Save, since I'm using a PC, which will then send it back to Lightroom so that I can add the color correction. So there it goes, it's popped into Lightroom now. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do is apply a preset that I've been working on. So I'm just gonna paste it on there. That's the way I want it to look. Maybe add a little bit of brightness right here, a little bit of warmth to the photo, not as much. And then lower the exposure again a little bit to keep that moody vibe on it. Now I'll just kind of go back down to the transformation, hit auto, just so that it kind of adds a little bit better straightening to it and it just looks nicer that way. And I'm pretty happy with that version of that one. So we're gonna go back to Photoshop now, and then we're gonna go to this one right here with this one right here. So I copied my layer, and then I'm gonna send it over here. So I'm gonna duplicate that layer, turn off the background, and paste it in. And then simply from that, I am just going to make a mask as well and just start deleting myself out of the photo nice and smoothly. Zoom in a little bit more, come on in just to make sure we got that going. Make this smaller and just start aligning the shoes better so that it just looks nicer, just like so. There we go, nice and easy. And that's pretty much all we gotta do with this. So if we zoom out, it looks good. We save it to send it back to Lightroom so that we can add the color that we wanna do so we can keep that consistency with it. So here we go. And it pops up here in Lightroom once again. Now I'm just gonna paste the same edit that I just did with the other one with the color correction that I want to do. Maybe add the 10th for the temperature, keep the exposure about that level. What I'm going to do though is make a graduated filter so that this right here gets a little bit brighter actually, and bring up the highlights just a smidge and the shadows so that we can make myself in the reflection kind of stand out a little bit more, just so that I don't blend in too much with the background. And then add a little bit of clarity to that right there, save it, and then we're gonna go to get a little bit of that upright transformation, and then a little bit more vignetting just to draw the eyes of the viewer into it. Maybe feather it a little bit more, midpoint a little bit in, and here's the before and here's the after. So that's pretty much it. Anyways guys, that's how I do my photo trick of the reflection of the water, where you can see myself in the reflection but not in the real photo. A little combination, cool little trick that I think is pretty cool, so hopefully you enjoy it. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you don't already. Share it with a friend that is a photographer or wants to learn photography, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.